The world of Hollywood just came to a screeching, heart-stopping halt. We thought we had seen it all, the divorces, the betrayals, the public feuds, but nothing, and I mean absolutely nothing, could have prepared us for the soul-shattering news that just leaked from the inner sanctum of Teyana Taylor's camp. Imagine the scene. Teyana Taylor, the undisputed queen of cool, a woman who has survived the most public of heartbreaks with her head held high, is found collapsed in a heap of designer silk and raw, unshielded agony. Why? Because the man she thought was her forever, the man she reportedly sacrificed her peace for, didn't just walk away. He didn't just move on. Pierre has allegedly committed the ultimate act of emotional warfare. Sources are screaming from the rooftops that while Teyana was busy defending his name and building a future for them, Aaron was quietly, meticulously planning a secret life. The rumors aren't just about a new girlfriend. They are about a childhood sweetheart from his past, a woman he has reportedly been hidden away for years. But here is the absolute kicker that has the internet in a literal state of emergency. Teyana didn't find out through a phone call. She didn't find out through a text. She found out when a wedding invitation, intended for someone else, accidentally landed in her hands. The date? It's sooner than you think. The reason for the dumping? It wasn't about growth or timing. It was a cold-blooded calculation that has left Teyana questioning every single second of their romance. Stay exactly where you are. We are about to pull back the curtain on the secret messages, the hidden bank accounts, and the moment Teyana's world turned into a living nightmare. This is the betrayal that changes everything. The silence in Teyana Taylor's luxury compound was shattered by a sound that no one who heard it will ever forget. It was a primal, gut-wrenching scream of realization. For months, Teyana had been the subject of cruel whispers, with the industry labeling her a gold digger, who was only latching onto Pierre's meteoric rise in Hollywood. She took the hits. She stayed quiet. She believed that the love she shared with the British star was worth the public execution of her character. But that silence was a trap, and the predator was the man sleeping right next to her. Inside sources close to the situation have revealed a timeline of deception that is so calculated it feels like a psychological thriller. While Teyana was reportedly funding high-end vacations and using her massive industry connections to get Aaron into rooms he couldn't access on his own, Aaron was maintaining a secret ghost life. The gold digger narrative. It wasn't just internet gossip. It was a strategic leak planted by Aaron's own management to create a justifiable reason for him to eventually leave her. They needed to make Teyana the villain so that Aaron could emerge as the hero returning to his true love. The discovery happened on a Tuesday afternoon that started like any other. Teyana was at a fitting when a delivery intended for Aaron was dropped off at her doorstep. It was a custom-made, vintage-inspired bridal veil. Confused, Teyana assumed it was a prop for a movie or perhaps a surprise for her. But tucked inside the box was a handwritten note from a woman named Sarah, a name Teyana had heard Aaron mention only once as a distant cousin from his childhood neighborhood in London. The note didn't talk about family. It talked about the white dress, the chapel, and the life we promised each other before the fame took over. Teyana's blood turned to ice. She didn't call him. She didn't scream yet. Instead, she did what any woman with her back against the wall would do. She went through the digital receipts. Using a password she had guessed months ago, she accessed a hidden cloud folder. What she found was a gallery of a secret life. Photos of Aaron and this childhood sweetheart, spanning the entire duration of his relationship with Teyana. Birthdays, holidays. Even a private promise ceremony that took place while Teyana was in the middle of her national tour. The betrayal was total. Aaron hadn't just moved on. He had never actually arrived in Teyana's life. He was using her as a bridge to cross the Atlantic, a famous face to elevate his brand until he was stable enough to bring his real life to the forefront. When Teyana confronted him that evening, the mask didn't just slip, it disintegrated. Aaron didn't deny it. He didn't apologize. In a cold, detached tone that witnesses say was bone-chilling, he told her that she was too much for a simple man, and that he needed someone who wasn't addicted to the spotlight. He dumped her right there, in the middle of the kitchen they had just remodeled together. He told her he was leaving for London that night to marry the woman he had always belonged to. Teyana was left standing in the wreckage of a 3-year lie, clutching a wedding veil that wasn't meant for her. But as Aaron walked out the door, he said one final thing that caused Teyana to drop to her knees in tears. "I let them call you a gold digger, because it was easier than telling them I never loved you." The internet went into a state of absolute meltdown as the first photos of Aaron landing at Heathrow Airport surfaced. He wasn't alone. He was being greeted by a woman who looked the opposite of Teyana Taylor, unassuming, quiet, and holding a bouquet of Teyana's favorite flowers. The psychological hit was massive. Teyana's fans, the Taylor gang, began a digital hunt for the truth, but every lead led back to the same heartbreaking reality. Pierre was gone, and he was taking Teyana's dignity with him. But just as the world began to pity her, a leaked audio clip from Teyana's home security system started making the rounds. It wasn't a clip of her crying. It was a clip of her talking to a private investigator. Her voice was shaky, but her resolve was hardening. "Find everything," she whispered. "Find every cent I spent on him. Find every contract I signed. If he wants a childhood wedding, I'm going to make sure he's paying for it for the rest of his life." The drama was no longer just about a breakup. It was about a financial and emotional war. Teyana's team began preparing a lawsuit that threatened to freeze Aaron's assets right before the wedding. The gold digger was about to become the debt collector, and she wasn't playing by the rules of engagement anymore. As the news of the impending wedding grew louder, Teyana's tears turned into a cold, calculated fury. She wasn't just hurt, she was insulted. Then came the twist that no one saw coming. A prominent London jeweler posted a "congratulations" photo to Pierre, showing off a ring that cost more than Aaron's last 3 acting checks combined. The caption mentioned a generous benefactor who helped secure the diamond. When fans zoomed in on the reflection in the glass, they didn't see Pierre. They saw a woman whose silhouette looked hauntingly familiar to someone from Teyana's own past, a former rival who had been waiting for the perfect moment to strike. Was Aaron's childhood sweetheart just another pawn in a much larger game to destroy Teyana Taylor? Is this wedding a love story, or is it a corporate takeover of Teyana's happiness? The deeper we dig, the more it looks like Teyana wasn't just dumped, she was set up. And the person holding the puppet strings is someone she once called a sister. The clock is ticking toward the wedding date, and Teyana Taylor is reportedly on a private jet headed for the UK. She isn't going there to stop the wedding. She's going there to serve the papers that will turn Aaron's happily ever after into a legal nightmare. But as she boarded the plane, she posted one last photo, a picture of her and Aaron from a year ago, with his face completely scratched out. The caption read, "I've got a surprise for the bride." The atmospheric pressure in the world of celebrity gossip reached an all-time high as Teyana Taylor's private jet touched down on British soil. The internet was paralyzed. Was she really going to crash the wedding? The childhood sweetheart narrative was already beginning to crumble under the weight of new, leaked evidence. While Pierre was being photographed in the English countryside looking like the picture of traditional bliss, Teyana's legal team was dropping a nuclear bomb in the form of an international asset freeze. Sources within the London hotel where Teyana was staying reported a level of security usually reserved for heads of state. But it wasn't just lawyers entering her suite, it was a team of digital forensic experts. They had uncovered a series of encrypted messages between Aaron and his bride-to-be, Sarah, that suggested that childhood girlfriend was a total fabrication. Sarah wasn't a girl from the neighborhood. She was a high-level corporate operative linked to a rival talent agency that had been trying to poach Aaron from Teyana's influence for years. The plot thickened when a leaked video surfaced from a London nightclub, showing Aaron and Sarah celebrating just 48 hours before the ceremony. Aaron didn't look like a man in love. He looked like a man who had just closed a business deal. In the audio, you can hear Sarah say, "Once the papers are signed tomorrow, Teyana can't touch a dime of the Kingsgate residuals." Kingsgate was the blockbuster project Teyana had personally negotiated for Aaron, using her own production company as a guarantor. Teyana's Gold Digger label was officially dead. The reality was much more sinister. Aaron Pierre was allegedly fame-farming Teyana Taylor, using her heart as a battery to jumpstart his career, only to discard her once he had reached the summit. The marriage wasn't a union of souls. It was a legal shield designed to protect his new fortune from the woman who helped him earn it. But Teyana had one more card to play, and it was a joker. As the wedding rehearsals began at a secluded chapel in Surrey, a frantic 911 call, or 999 in the UK, was leaked to the press. It was from the wedding venue's coordinator. "There's a woman at the gate," the voice whispered. "She says she has proof that the groom is already married." The shockwave hit the paparazzi line like a physical blow. Was Aaron Pierre a bigamist? Or was Teyana referring to a common-law marriage under California law that could invalidate his new union? The tension was so thick it was suffocating. Back in the States, Teyana's mother, Miss Nikki, took to Instagram Live for exactly 60 seconds. She didn't say a word. She simply held up a marriage certificate from a small chapel in Las Vegas, dated 3 years ago, with Aaron Pierre's signature clearly visible next to Teyana's. The world stopped spinning. If Teyana and Aaron were already married, this childhood sweetheart wedding wasn't just a betrayal, it was a crime. Aaron's perfect image was being incinerated in real time. He had dumped her to marry someone else, but he had forgotten one tiny detail: he hadn't divorced her yet. The scene at the Surrey chapel turned into a war zone. Black SUVs swerved through the gates as Aaron's security tried to block the entrance. Inside, Sarah, the bride, was reportedly seen screaming at Aaron, realizing that her corporate marriage was about to land her in the middle of a global scandal. The tears Teyana had shed in her kitchen days ago were gone, replaced by the cold, sharp gaze of a woman who was about to collect every single receipt. As the sun began to set over the English countryside, a final, chilling image was captured by a long-range drone lens. It showed Teyana Taylor standing on a hill overlooking the chapel, dressed in an all-black power suit, holding a folder of documents. She wasn't crying anymore. She was smiling. It was the smile of a woman who knew that in exactly 12 hours, the man who called her a gold digger would be begging her for mercy. But just as the Taylor gang began to celebrate, a new message was intercepted from Aaron's phone to an unknown number in Paris. She found the Vegas papers. It read, "Trigger phase 2. Tell the police she's stalking me." The hunt was no longer just about the wedding. It was a race to see who would end up in handcuffs first. Would Teyana be arrested before she could serve the papers? Or was phase 2 something even more dangerous? The wedding bells were scheduled to ring at dawn, but the only thing anyone could hear was the sound of a legacy crashing to the ground. The dawn light over Surrey wasn't golden. It was a bruised, cinematic purple, reflecting the sheer carnage of the night before. As the clock ticked toward the scheduled I-dos, the chapel gates became a gauntlet of flashing lights and screaming headlines. But the wedding march never played. Instead, the world watched in stunned silence as a fleet of Metropolitan Police vehicles pulled into the gravel driveway. The phase 2 Aaron had planned, a desperate attempt to have Teyana arrested for stalking, backfired with the force of 1,000 suns. Teyana Taylor didn't run. She didn't hide. When the officers approached her on that hill, she simply handed them the Vegas marriage certificate and a second, even more damning document, a forensic accounting report proving that Aaron had moved over $2 million of their shared production funds into an offshore account in Sarah's name just 48 hours after dumping Teyana. It wasn't stalking. It was a citizen's intervention in a multi-million-dollar grand larceny. The scene inside the chapel was pure, unadulterated chaos. Witnesses claim that when the police entered the vestry, Aaron Pierre was found not in a tuxedo, but in a state of total emotional collapse. Sarah, his childhood sweetheart, was reportedly caught trying to exit through a rear window with a briefcase full of legal documents and Aaron's passport. The wedding of the century had officially been reclassified as a crime scene. Teyana Taylor's final move was the most savage. As Aaron was escorted out of the chapel in handcuffs, charged with bigamy and suspicion of financial fraud, Teyana was waiting by the police cruiser. She didn't scream. She didn't even look angry. She leaned in and whispered loud enough for the body cams to catch every word. "You told me I was too much for a simple man. You were right. You're a simple man, Aaron. And I'm the price you can't afford." The fallout was instantaneous. By noon, every major studio had scrubbed Aaron Pierre's name from their upcoming rosters. The Kingsgate residuals he fought so hard to steal were legally reverted to Teyana's production house. He had traded a queen for a pawn and ended up losing the entire board. Teyana's tears from days ago were now being called the greatest performance of her career, not because they were fake, but because they were the fuel she used to burn down the house of lies Aaron built. Teyana's final Instagram post from London was a photo of her sipping tea on the private jet, the Vegas marriage certificate framed on the table next to her. The caption was a single line that has since become the most liked post in the history of celebrity breakups: "The gold digger just struck a vein. Marriage annulled. Debt collected. Next." This is the most insane, career-ending betrayal we have ever covered on this channel, and the truth is still coming out in waves. If you want to see the exclusive bodycam footage of Aaron Pierre's arrest, and the leaked text messages between Sarah and the rival agency, you cannot afford to wait. The industry is trying to bury this story to protect their remaining investments, but we have the receipts and we are not backing down. Teyana Taylor just taught every woman in the spotlight a lesson in power, and we are here to document every single second of her victory lap. Do you think Aaron Pierre deserves a second chance? Or should he stay behind bars for what he did to Teyana? And who do you think was the silent rival funding Sarah this whole time? Drop a comment below with "Justice for Teyana" to show your support, or Team Aaron if you actually believe his side of the story, though we don't know why you would. Hit that subscribe button right now and turn on the notification bell, because our next update involves a secret recording from inside the police station that will leave you absolutely speechless. Don't let the algorithms hide the truth from you. Stay tuned, stay obsessed, and remember, in this game, the queen always takes the king. Smash that like button to keep the truth alive.